So, question. Yeah, the first question says, what is an example of a negative externality? So when there is negative externality, that's a negative spillover. That means the action or inaction of a firm or individuals or government has caused, cost to the third party. So lower profit due to increased competition from new firms. That should be private cost. Reduced government funding for a museum. That is not an external cost. The increase in noise levels from aircraft due to the expansion of a large city airport. Yeah, increase in noise for aircraft. It disturbs everybody.
Yeah.
So that's the external cost. The last one, they said the increase in production cost. Increase in production cost is a private cost. So the answer is C.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Very clear.
Go to B. Question 2. It said, this is a diagram that shows a firms operating in a monopolistic competition. Why is it a monopolistic competition? We call it a monopolistic competition because firms in that business or firms in that industry produces goods and services that are not similar, but they are competing. They are competing goods and services, but are not similar as a close substitute for their competitors. So they are producing almost the same product, but there are differences in those products, and they are in a competitive environment. But the kind of product they produce cannot be the closest substitutes to their competitors. What I'm saying is that in that monopolistic competition, each firms are producing products that are very close as substitutes. They are very close as substitutes, but they are not a perfect substitute for each other.
Yeah.
You get the point?
Yeah, it's a perfect substitute.
It's an imperfect competition because firms in that industry, they produce goods and services that are close to be substitutes, but they are not perfect substitute for each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
An example is like bread and cake.
I was about to say this. You gave it an example.
Yeah, a bread and cake.
Yeah.
They are not substitutes.
Yes, but they're close to each other.
They are close.
Yeah.
You get the point?
Yes.
So that's an example. So at which point is the firm allocatively efficient? So when we talk about allocative efficiency, this is when the benefits of consumption is more than the cost of producing extra units. Do you get the point?
Yeah.
That means firms are able to produce to consumers. Consumers are able to get as much as they want in terms of production, in terms of consumption. That is when there's allocative efficiency. That means you put the welfare of the people into consideration before you decide. So here I wrote, allocative efficiency occurs when the marginal benefit to consumers equals to the marginal cost of producing. So the extra benefit consumers are going to get is the same as the extra cost of producing it. That means MC equals to MB equals to MC. Then for optimal distribution of goods and services. So at this point, look at the first point. At point A, the average the revenue is increasing. The average cost is increasing at the same time as the average revenue. At point B, the same to the marginal cost. But at point C, the marginal cost of producing is less, and the marginal revenue is lesser too. So at A and B, the costs are increasing, which is not good for consumers, because at that point, consumers will have to buy at a higher price. But at point C, the marginal cost has fallen. The marginal cost has fallen at point C. So where your marginal cost and your average revenue are at the same point, that is what called allocative efficiency. So the marginal cost is high, but the average revenue is less. So that means consumers are happy.
Yeah.
Do you get the point here? Yes, the point at which your MC equals to your AR is your allocative efficiency.
MC equals to AC or
AR.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is the marginal cost.
Yes.
The marginal cost curve and the average revenue cost curve are meeting at C.
Yes.
So that makes it C. Is it clear?
Very clear.
So the third point, the question 3. He said the amount of training undertaken in mixed economy is not socially optimal What could explain this? If it is not socially optimal, it means the society, it involves the society. So it involves the society. That is why it's not socially optimal. So what could explain this? Experienced educators are scarce resources. If experienced educators are scarce resources, we have substitutes like the internet to do that. In a mixed economy, training is a public good. If training is a public good, that means it's not even expensive. So that means government will provide it. So that will not make it socially not optimal because it will be available. The individual's benefit from training is less than the benefit of the society. That's the answer anyway, but I will come back to that. And the last one is saying training is a large variable cost for firms.
Well, it is.
Training.
Yes.
How is it a large variable cost for firms? Don't you know that individuals that are trained, if individuals are trained, what happens? They add more skills. And as soon as they add more skills, they become efficient. So because they are efficient, they become more productive. So training would increase cost, but not the average cost. Because when we talk about the average cost, we're talking about the cost of producing a unit. So if an individual is trained, that individual will be productive, efficient. So that individual will be productive.
Yes.
Do you get the point? Okay.
Well trained.
What?
Well trained.
Well trained, yes. Training involves you adding up skills. Okay. So the answer is C. The individual benefit from training is less than the benefit to the society. So that training is less beneficial to that individual than the society.
Okay.
Is it clear? So we go to B, question 4. They said 4 bus companies control more than 2/3 of the market in the country. That looks more like oligopoly. Critics claim that this company fixes prices on some routes to maximize revenue, whilst lowering prices on other routes to stop smaller competitors entering the market. So based on this is what we call anti-competitive practices. It is called what? Anti-competitive practices. And if this happens, the first point is about fixing prices. When firms fix prices, we call it collusion.
And fixed prices regarding to what?
Fixed prices of goods and services. They fix the price they want to sell. So when you go to shop A or firm A, it's going to be the same price as firm B. So that means you can only buy at that price. The price they are selling at that price so that customers would not have any other choice and would not be able to buy at a lower price. Customers won't be able to buy at a lower price. That means the price is not competitive. Do you get what collusion is here? So collusion might come through price fixing. It can also come through agreements on the quotas of production. That means the level of output. So let's produce 100 units and that's all.
As if it was you're having the same price as your competitors.
It will be competitive if the prices are different.
But
it's not going to be competitive now. The market is not competitive anymore.
Okay.
That is collusion. We agree to do it that way.
So collusion is having same prices and no competition.
Fixing prices.
Same prices. They have the same price.
They are not having the same price. They fixed it. They agree to fix the price.
They agree.
They are not supposed to have the same price.
Okay, they're not supposed to, but after the agreement, they had the same price.
Yeah, we call it fixed price, not same price.
Fixed price.
Yeah, it's not the same as same.
Okay,
if you are selling at the same price, listen, the word collusion brings about agreeing to fix a price. It's not agreeing to have the same price.
Okay.
We agree to fix this price. It's fixing.
It's fixing.
Do you understand? So yeah, they agree to fix the price. That is collusion. They agree to produce the same unit. That is collusion. But what happens afterward? They said, while lowering prices on the other routes to stop smaller competitors. So they are reducing price on the other places. Those places where the prices are falling, where they are reducing prices, it makes it difficult for new businesses to come in because new businesses will not be making profit. Do you get the point? They are large. They are enjoying economies of scale. So if they are selling at this price here, selling at a lower price there, this place will help them over there. But the price at which they are selling over there is a lower price, which will not allow new firms to come into the business.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yes.
So there's collusion here and limit pricing.
Okay.
So the answer is A. Question 5. On the diagram, the slope of the consumer budget line becomes steeper. What can definitely be concluded from this? When the budget line becomes steeper, it means two things happens with your budget line. First, either increase in income or increase in price. So the budget line will change because of price or income. So if it shifts, if the budget line is shifting right, it shifts rightward, it means your level of income has increased. If your budget line becomes steeper, it means the prices has fallen. But if the budget line is shifting to the left, it means the income level has fallen. And if the budget line is flatter, it means the price level has fallen.
That's falling. Okay.
Do you get the point?
Yeah.
So here they said, on the diagram, the slope of the consumer budget line becomes steeper. So that means the price was what?
It's falling.
So the answer is C. Is it clear?
Yeah.
No, the price has increased for the product.
It's
Yes,
A.
the
It's
price
A.
is falling. Yes. But here we have substitute goods.
Okay.
We have substitute goods here.
Yes,
Do you get the point?
yes.
So because we have a substitute goods here, we have good X and good Y. That is the point here. We have good X, good Y. So the price has increased for the product of the horizontal axis.
Okay.
You know, the price has increased for the product of the horizontal axis, which is, yes, wait, we are in number 5, right? Or number 6?
We're in number 5.
Yeah, they said on the diagram, oh, I'm checking the budget line of 6.
Yeah,
Sorry.
6 is a loan.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
So they said on the diagram, the slope of consumer budget line becomes steeper.
What can definitely be
Yeah, it
concluded.
becomes steeper if the price increases. We said it.
The price decreases. or-
Increases. It is flatter. When it is flatter, the price decreases.
Okay.
When it is steeper, the price falls, or the price
It
increases.
So it's D.
Is D.
Okay.
But if the income level increases,
Mhm.
the budget line will shift rightward.
Right.
If the income level falls, the budget line will shift leftward. So it is steeper when the prices increases.
Mhm.
It is flatter when the price decreases. It shifts rightward when the level of income increases. It shifts leftward when the income level falls.
Okay.
I think it's clear now.
Yeah.
So go to question 6. The diagram shows the difference between two curves of two budget lines for good X and good Y. So there's a substitute here.
Mhm.
So for a substitute product, that means the price of one product has fallen for another. That is what we call substitute. You get what I'm saying here?
But yeah.
So they said the consumer initial position is at point F. The consumer preferred final position becomes point H. If the consumer final position is at point H, that means that shift rightward. That is based on income.
Mhm.
But here we are talking about movement from F to G. We're not talking about from F to H. If we're talking from F to H, it means we're talking about the income level. But here is movement from F to G.
Mhm.
The movement from F to G means that we are buying more of X. We are buying more of X products.
Mhm.
So what would be the result of that? That means the substitution effect of the price of 4 for X. Do you get the point I'm saying? There's movement. That means from F to G means that we are buying more of X, not G anymore, or not Y anymore. So that means Y is a substitute for X. So this would have meant that the price of X or the price of Y has increased. So
Yeah.
consumers start buying X because X is a substitute for Y.
Mhm.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
So the answer is C.
So-
Question 7. Here it said the table shows the total cost at different levels of output for a firm producing chairs. Now they said what is the average variable cost when output is 4 chairs? First, we don't know the variable cost.
Mhm.
We don't know the variable cost, right? We only know the total cost and the output. So we need to find the total, we need to find the variable cost, we need to find the fixed cost, because the question is about the average variable cost. The formula for the average variable cost is that's AVC equals to VC divided by output. AVC is VC divided by output. But how are we going to be able to get VC here? We don't have VC, we have TC. Yes or no?
Yeah.
But remember that TC is FC plus VC.
Okay.
TC is FC plus VC.
Mhm.
FC is cost that does not change as the level of output changes.
Fixed cost.
This is FC, fixed cost. Variable costs are the cost that changes as the level of output changes. So let's go back to the output here. At output of 0, the total cost is 50. That means there is no variable cost there.
Mhm.
So that means the total fixed cost is 50.
Okay.
Noted. So we now go to, we already know what is the total. We know the fixed cost, right?
Yeah.
So which is 50. Now we go to the output of 4. At the output of 4, we have total cost to be 94. From 94, we have our total cost, which is constant, is 50. So 94 minus 50 gives us our variable cost. So that means TC, VC is TC minus FC. So VC is 44. So AVC will be 44 divided by output, which is 4.
Yeah.
So 44 divided by 4 is 11, which is 8.
Which is 8.
Is it clear?
Okay. 8.
So the next question says, at which level of output will a firm achieve the aim of sales maximization? When you are talking about sales maximization, it is when your average revenue equals to your average cost. Do you get the point? At that point in time, you've maximized your sales. So the answer is A. Question 9. They said, question 9, sorry, right?
Yeah, yeah.
In market economies, firms can operate under monopolistic competition, which feature is not typical of this type of market. Non-price competition through advertising. Yes, I told you already that in a monopolistic market, they produce products that seems to be substitute, but they are not perfect substitutes. So that means they are different.
Such as Kiffin.
Yeah. So each business would use non-price competitive pricing, non-price competition, like advertisement. They use advertisement, yes or no?
Yes.
So that means it's a feature of a monopolistic. 2, price leadership with few large firms. There's no price leadership here. Do you know why?
Why?
Because they are not producing the same product. They just seem to be like substitute, but they are not perfect substitutes. So they won't be price leadership. But there will be promotion of differentiated products. They will promote their products because they look the same. They are not the same. We might see it the same, but they are not the same. So they have to promote it. Yes or no? Unrestricted entry results in long-run normal profit. There's no restriction there. Any firm, there's free entry and exit. So the only feature that is not a characteristic, or the only point that is not a characteristic of a monopolistic competition, is price leadership. There's no price leadership because they are producing different products.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Right.
So that's B, question 9. Then we go to question 10. They said, when will the principal agent problem occur? The principal agent problem occurs when the objective of the owner of the business is different from the objective of the directors or the managers. So the answer is D.
Go to 11.
Question 11.
Which feature of the oligopoly is being assumed in the demand curve for an individual firm as shown?
So if the demand curve breaks as this, it means firms have to depend on each other to produce, to meet up with consumer needs. That means each firm cannot meet up with the needs of consumers. So that means they have to rely on each other.
Interdependence.
So that means interdependence of firms.
Okay.
So the answer is C.
Well,
Question 12.
the table provides data on the number and value of mergers in Europe and North America between 2014 and 2017, which can be deduced from this table.
So based on this table, the only point I'm able to find out is that 1, then because it's just somehow. So the first point, let's just check the questions that the answers immediately. Said the average value of merger in Europe was higher in 2017 and 2014. In 2017, merger with 18,000, 18,005. No, North America is more than Europe in 2000 and A is not an option because North American merger increases more than Europe. So it's not A. B, they said the difference in the number of mergers in Europe and North America was the same in 2014 and 2016. So we just have to go to check 2014 and 2016. The difference between 2014 and 2016 is 18,100 minus 17,000. That is 1,100. 15,100 minus 14,000. That is 1,100. So it is right. The answer is B. Do you get it or not?
Yeah.
So we go to question 13.
Chart is the
Hold on, sorry. Okay, continue, please.
Charities distribute plastic bags to households that householders can fill with clothes they no longer want. The charities then collect them and sell the clothes to raise funds. Only one charity leaves a note thanking the householder for the donation.
Yeah, they did. The charities, they did it, but they distribute this. They said charity distribute plastic bags to households to whatever they don't wear anymore, they get it, they put them in. So this thing is done by the household. They don't care anyway because they don't expect you to say thank you to them anyway.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But they said one of the charities, one of them makes a note and say thank you. So what does this imply? Is it a game theory? It's not a game theory anyway. It is a monopoly behavior. It's not a monopoly behavior. There's nothing like monopoly behavior there. Non-price competition, it is not about pricing. It is the nudge theory. And what is a nudge theory? A nudge theory talks about behavioral aspects in economic theory, like doing things right.
Yeah.
So it's not obliged. You are not obliged to do it. But when you do it, it means it is part of your ways. You have it. So we call it nudge theory. They are behavioral patterns in economics. So the answer is D. Clear, right?
14, what could prevent a market failure?
So market failure.
I don't really believe in such questions. Because like failure, it has its own percentage every time when
market failure.
Yeah.
No.
It has the same percentage as like you're failing with 50%, you're passing with 50%. It is the same. Like you can't avoid it. You can avoid it, but not really.
Look, put it this way. When you talk about market failure, it doesn't only involve you, it involves everybody.
Okay, and if market failure is something we could avoid and we could easily get over it, all of us will have a successful business plans and do whatever we want and open all businesses we want. If we
are talking about business failure.
Okay, market failure.
Market failure would be when the market forces is unable to efficiently allocate resources. Market failure comes when consumers are unable to get what they needed. That is market failure. It's not business failure.
Because the market, it still has something to do with business.
Listen, business failure is separate. Business failure comes based on your own decision.
Okay.
Market failure comes based on allocation of resources. Businesses will allocate resources.
Okay.
Yes or no?
Yes.
But they are allocating it. Decisions they take internally that affects them is their business failure. The production of goods and services belongs to consumers. So when they are unable to produce goods and services that consumer needs, that is market failure.
But they're somehow related to each other.
Business failure and market failure.
Yeah, but they're somehow related to each other.
How?
And decisions, for example.
Decision about production is business failure.
They're somehow related to the market failure. And I see.
Okay. If a business fails, let me put it this way to you. If a business fails, it doesn't mean the market failed. The business collapsed. The market is still there. The business is just one of the market.
Yeah, but the market, it's like a whole market.
The whole of the business coming together forms the market.
I know.
Okay.
But somehow they're both related to each other.
How are they related? Can you explain?
Mister, like a decision is making market and decisions are making businesses as well. They're both made up of decisions, and this is the point which relates them both together.
Decisions about what they produce is their business. Decisions about what they sell out to consumers.
I know.
Now, this relates to the market itself. Market failure means there is lack of allocative efficiency. That means resources are not fully utilized.
I know.
If businesses produce more, that it becomes surplus in the market, it's a market failure.
I know.
If businesses fail to produce sufficiently in the market, it's a market failure. But not just one business. All the businesses. So that is not a business failure. It's a market failure.
If they still didn't get the thing, I mean, like somehow, and some point that the market failure is related to the business failure itself. There's a point which relates them both together.
When it comes to production,
which is decisions. Sometimes you make decisions related to the business itself and the market itself. You still didn't get the point that I'm trying to explain to you.
Your-
For example, business is somehow related to economics, isn't it? Market is still somehow related to the business.
Okay, so what you're trying to say now is that businesses will produce. Decisions about production.
Yeah.
If they make decisions about production and it becomes insufficient, they failed.
Yeah.
Is that what you are saying?
Yeah, this is what I mean.
Okay, they failed.
So
But-
they're related.
Related, but they are not the
Huh?
same.
Khalas, I just want you to say it's related. I didn't say they're the same. Of course they're not the same, but they're still related.
Business decisions.
Did I convince you? Honestly, did I convince you?
I'm convinced, but you have to listen. The point is, we have to understand where we are going to. Where we are going to is market
It's
failure,
market failure,
not business
not
failure.
business failure. I know.
Business failure comes, and we don't even discuss business failure in economics. We discuss
Okay.
business failure in business.
Okay, but okay.
Yeah. In economics, we
Actually, you're
talk.
hard to deal with, by the way.
No, it's not like that, sir.
Okay.
In economics, we said it's a study of human behavior.
Mhm.
So it does not only depend on what the business does. It depends on how the business do it, how the businesses do it.
Okay.
So here we're talking about what they produce and how consumers are happy about what they produce.
Yes.
So that is the point. So
Okay.
there's business failure in business, objective and rest. But here in economics, we don't talk about business failure because we don't relate the business here. We relate the industry.
Okay.
So in the industry, if businesses in that industry fail to allocate resources efficiently, it is market failure. Clear? So what could prevent a market failure? Barriers to entry will prevent a market failure because when there's barrier to entry, it means new firms cannot come into the business. So new firms can't come into the market.
Mhm.
So their inability to come into the market, is it because they failed?
No.
So how is business failure now related to market failure? If businesses are unable to go into the market,
Mhm.
not because they are not successful on their own, but the market doesn't allow them to come in.
Mhm.
Is it a business failure? Does it relate to business failure? So now the business is there, but the business is unable to produce to the market. Is it the decision of the business?
Yeah.
Decision of where?
Market. But still cause less productivity.
Building regulations. When you build regulations, it solves problem of market failure because it means government are coming up with rules and regulations. The only way to solve market failure is through government intervention. Business failure will be solved by business owners. Market failure will be solved
We better
by
skip
government.
this question. Allah, we better skip this question. We have different point of views regarding to this question, Ra.
The business will fail. If business fails, it's because of their own decision.
I know.
If the market fails, it's because of indecisions or decisions from the industry.
Okay.
These things can't be solved by business owners. Market failure can't be solved by business owners.
Mhm.
Business failure will be solved by business owners. Market failure will be solved by government. Government would not solve business failure. Government would not solve what? Business failure. It's not their problem. Government could help businesses by subsidizing,
Mhm.
taking them out of administration. But business decisions are not taken by government. But here, government can intervene by coming up with rules and regulations to ensure that that market failure reduces or eliminated. Businesses might provide demerit goods. Production of demerit goods is a market failure because you are producing goods that are harmful to the society. If this happens, government can come in. But government will not stop businesses from producing them because it's what they produce. Businesses that produces tobacco, they produce it. It's their business. Will government stop them from producing tobacco? No. But government can restrict the consumption of tobacco. So do you see that because there's a market failure based on their production, is a business failure to them? Is it a business failure? So companies that produce cigarettes, they are making profit. Is this the business failure? Are their business failing? Are the business failing?
No.
But it's a market failure because those that consume cigarettes could have health issues.
Yeah.
So their production is leading to misallocation of resources. So business failure is separate, market failure is not the same. There. So the answer is B anyway, first 14. We'll go to 15.
Thank God.
So here they said, when will a society have achieved an equitable distribution of the income? It is only when we feel income will not be equal. Well, at that point in time, in our mind, that will feel like, oh, I think the government have done best. Yeah, that is when we believe, the society believes that income is distributed equally. That is when we can achieve equitable distribution of income. You get it? So the answer is D. Question 16. The addition to revenue, which results from employing one additional unit of a factor. When you add revenue with marginal revenue, I said the addition to revenue, which results from employing one additional unit of a factor of production, which can be labor or capital or enterprise, while the quantities of other factors of product remain constant. So if we are adding land, let's assume land, we are adding land, we leave labor, we leave capital, we leave enterprise separately. What does this imply? This implies that because we have additional units, we are getting our marginal revenue product. So other variables are constant. Other factors of production are constant. So we only need one to produce additional unit of the product. So that's why I call it marginal revenue for the product, not marginal revenue. Do you get it? Because we only need one factor of production. What would have make us to need one factor of production? We needed it to produce that product. Okay, so question 17. The alternative to work is to have leisure time. Yes, the opposite of work is leisure time. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So one thing you should put in your mind is that as soon as the wage rate increases for individuals, the hours of their work will fall. They will now start thinking about leisure. Do you get my point?
Yep.
So based on what we have here, what happens between Y and Z?
Shifts to the
Extra leisure is preferred to work.
okay.
Extra leisure is preferred to work. Because the supply of labor falls back.
Okay.
The supply of labor went back, right? And why? Because the wage rate has increased.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Right.
So the answer is A. Number 18.
Then
By moving from rural areas to large urban areas to work, how might economic migrants create benefits in both areas in developing countries? Who are economic migrants? Those that are in a country for a job. These are economic migrants. So how would this, in the rural area, what can they do in the rural area? In the rural area, they don't have jobs. So they can only ask for help.
Okay.
In the rural area, they can only ask for what? Help. Because even in the rural area, those that are in the rural area are living there to the urban area to find job. So that means you cannot even have a job there. But going to the urban areas, you can make yourself available for job.
Yeah.
So the answer is B. B. You make yourself available for job in the urban area. You ask for help in the rural areas. Number 19.
What change is most likely to increase both economic growth and economic development in the long term?
Economic growth and economic development would only happen if we invest in human capital. What is human capital? Your skills, the improvement in your skills that is adding value to the company or to the society. So that's B. Question 20.
The table gives population data from the United Nations. As countries move from low income to high income, within the paper shows a value that does not represent the expected trend.
From low, let's just go to the low to high. From low to high, if you are moving from low to high, the life expectancy has changed. The rate of population has changed. The mortality rate fell, but the death rate still remains the same as 8.8. Clear?
Yeah.
So the answer is what? C.
Okay.
The death rate in high income countries is not expected to change. 21. The diagram shows selected US labor statistics from 2001 to 2013. We have the net new jobs and we have the percentage of people employed. So based on this graph, they said between 2004 to 2005, when the number of net new jobs was rising, the percentage employed increased. In 2004, 2005, the net new job increased. Yes or no?
Mhm.
At that point in time, the number of employment also increased to 64. So the answer is A. Don't dwell much on that. 20.
Two.
Yeah. They said, what indicates that a developing country is becoming less dependent on foreign aid? The only time a developing country will be less dependent on foreign aid is when they are exporting their raw materials, and at the same time, instead of taking that money, they use it in purchasing equipment or machinery to help them to convert these raw materials into finished goods.
Mhm.
So at that point in time, they will be less dependent on foreign companies or foreign businesses.
Yeah.
You get it? So the answer is A. It gains foreign currency by exporting a range of raw materials and uses this to import machinery from developed economies. Instead of getting the money, they import machineries. 23. I said, how must the GDP at market price be adjusted to find GDP at factor price? What are GDP at factor price? We're talking about GDP combined with land, labor, capital, and the enterprise. So when you have to take GDP at market price away from when you have to measure GDP based on market price, what you have to do is you have the subsidies and take away taxes, indirect taxes, because indirect taxes will go to consumers.
Okay.
So the answer is D. 24. They said multiplier effect. The formula for multiplier effect is change in income or national income over change in investment and savings. So change in national income is UZ, and change in investment is XY. So it is UZ over XY. 25. An upward shift to the curve relating to consumption to national income could be caused by, how will consumption increase? Consumption will only increase if taxation falls. Because if taxation fell, prices will fall. And if prices fall, it becomes affordable for consumers to buy more.
So it's
A, yes. 26. The combination of changes is most likely to result in an increase in the demand for money. What will make us to demand for more money? If the income level is increasing, we need more money.
Mhm.
If inflation is increasing, we need more money so that our purchasing power can fit in to that increase in price.
Mhm.
And if the interest rate is falling, we demand for more money. So the answer is D. Claire. 27. Keynes. In 1936, Keynes explained how economic policy can be used to increase aggregate demand and prevent an economic depression, which is recession. So to prevent recession, government have to increase their spending and reduce taxation. B. 28. The central bank increases the money supply in an attempt to stimulate investment and growth when the economy is in recession or depression. When might this policy be ineffective? This policy will not be effective if the company is lacking liquidity.
Mhm.
Yes, there are policies on the ground, but there's no money to enforce these policies. So that means the country is in a liquidity trap.
Okay.
Clear? Is it clear, please?
Very clear.
29. Which statement describes what Philip Kopp shows? The Philip Kopp shows the inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment. We talked about that before. Question 30. Can you read question 30 for me?
To stimulate economic growth, the government increases the size of its budget deficit if done by increasing the money supply. What is most likely to reduce the effectiveness of these measures in achieving their aim?
Floating exchange rates would definitely have a positive budget, which is good. High marginal potential to imports. That is the problem, because the country is trying to reduce its budget deficit. Budget deficit would be as a result of more import than export. So if government is trying to reduce deficit and it's importing more, is it going to solve the problem? No. So the answer is B. Any question about that?
No.
Down.